Well, let's talk a little bit about the employment, that the education that you offer too at the service.
So employment service, as I mentioned, is for age 16 to 25 years old. We try to place them in nonprofit sector or government institution to work. And there is a worksite supervisor that can train and also know how to work with these young people. Hopefully they could build some entry-level skills, so when they look for private sector jobs, they have a build-up resumes. And some of the biggest barrier, especially for the immigrant kids, will be actually the language barrier, or they don't know what's the etiquette, how to handle the phone. So we actually training from very basic skills. We provide soft skill training as well as hard skill trainings. And then for...
Now, what's the difference between soft skills?
The soft skills more like critical skills, answering the phone, and then the hard skill could be IT skill, how to build website, how to type in different languages, or even like how to do some programming. Or if they do UPS, for example, then they know how to handle the parcel, how to go through the exam.
And this is part of the computer clubhouse as well that you offer.
Right.
Where do the computers come from? Are those donated or?
We're actually part of the International Intel Computer Clubhouse Network.
Oh, wonderful.
So in the whole world, we have about 111 different clubhouse from China to Pakistan and everywhere. And in the United States, there's 66. And in San Francisco, CYC is the agency that hosts this network. And we get 18 computer stations donated by IBM and Intel to build up this individual station for you with the state of art. So that hopefully they could learn not through a computer learning center, but an open learning center. They could just walk in, talk with other peers about what kind of new tricks they learn on the computers, how to build programs, and they also match with mentors to learn on different type of projects because they think that hands-on experience is much better through exploration than by lecture.
Definitely. And do you have a story of anyone that came in and just their life turned around from being able to learn computer skills and feeling proud of their accomplishments?
I think one of the strengths about CYC is not the kid when they join one program, they actually get also to expose to different type of program. So a few years ago, we have a group of new immigrant kids. They're about like a sophomore, and they start to learn about English, they learn about American culture, and then they sort of express their type of frustration, the challenge that they've seen, and later on they actually write up a script and also did a TV episode of 13 episodes in Chinese and actually metered through a local ethnic channels.
Really?
Yeah, and then they talk about issues from parenting to substance abuse to choosing college. And it certainly make them very confident about themselves, about where they are, about where they want to be going for after college. And also one of them actually received the Youth Award from CYC as one of the outstanding youth who's not only helping themselves but also helping younger immigrants that come to the United States.
And the media is such a powerful tool to be able to show that experience.
Right.
And for younger people to see and share that experience, they know they're not alone.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, the Community Assessment and Referral Center is a part that I think I'm speaking with you, Eddie, about. This is for youth 11 through 17 arrested for a variety of criminal offenses. Now, how is that handled through your program?
I think two of the components that we have in the Community Youth Center is the intervention component and the street outreach component. The intervention component, there's a program called the Intensive Home-Based Supervision Program. Okay. And it's basically for the youth that who are got in trouble with the juvenile justice system, whether whatever delinquency that they have indulge in, and they get arrested. So instead of locking them up, per se, they would get put on curfews, and then they would go to after-school programs during those time where they have a case manager to monitor them. So basically, they get referrals from the court and from the probation officers. So we have a case management there trying to get the youth into the program, so they would get curfew checks. They have different curfews. Sometimes it's 6 o'clock, sometimes it's 8 o'clock, all depending on the severity of the cases. So then the case manager would check in with them, make sure they get home on time, and then make sure they also go to school. That one of the conditions is they have to go to school every day. They have to bring their grades up, and then that's when we also run like leadership enrichment groups in our agency, so to basically help the youth to change their behavior, addressing their behavior, and so that's been pretty successful. Many of the kids actually graduate from that program and was able to get their GED, was able to find jobs through our the mayor's youth employment, equal employment program.
Okay.
And then we also have the New Direction program, which is specifically targeting the youth who have been on probation, who's been put on probation. So we would provide them with opportunity to get jobs. So.
And now this would be an option rather than going to juvenile hall,
Right.
because
Yes.
most of the times back then they used to just go funnel through to juvenile hall, who didn't have any of these services or were able to do what you're doing.
Yes. So with this type of alternative, it takes it really shoulders the burden to the juvenile probation department. You know, as far as when you lock up people, it takes a lot of money, a lot of resources to lock people up. But it's just the fact that to provide them with alternatives, to teach them, you know, the right way and boost up their self-esteem, their confidence to be able to, you know, plan for their future. And that's what we would like to do, you know, do our program.
Do you think that a lot of youth that are landing up in juvenile hall, landing up in your service, just don't feel like they have hope?
It's not so much if they don't have hope. It's sometimes that they don't find the things that they're interested in. You know, sometimes we say education is very important, and the parents emphasize that, school emphasizes that, but the youth sometimes they feel that they don't belong there because their lack of interest in the subject or the environment that they go to the school in is different. Like sometimes they get harassed, they get bullied, or because, you know, especially with the API population with the new immigrants, sometimes because the language barrier, they get picked on. They don't know how to, you know, really address that issue.
So prejudice is still a very strong
Prejudice,
issue.
racism is a big issue. That's the fundamental issue that, you know, we're trying to address that too. So through our community response network program for the Pacific Islanders, so we were able to do some street outreach and school outreach to really help those kids. The Community Response Network is a collaborative, like a citywide collaborative under the Department of Children, Youth, and the Families, DCYF. So we get funded by that. So we have our collaborative partners, like the Baby Hunters Point, Visitation Valley, the Western Addition, Mission.
Oh, you work all
Yes,
together?
we all work together, but they are neighborhood-based. But for the CRN API, we have a total of 7 collaborative agencies that work together to really cater to all the APIs in the city of San Francisco. So we have the Vietnamese Development Center, the Samoan Community Development Center, the OMI Beacon, the Inner City Youth, we have Sunset Youth Services, the Samoan Community Development Center. Wow. So that's why we are able to collaborate citywide. Yeah. And wherever there's a conflict between the African Americans and the Asians, then we're able to get our partners to get on board to really do conflict mediation. Just this fiscal year alone, we have responded to 19 crises on the school campus, you know, and on the streets. So we were able to diffuse situations that could escalate to violence.
How were you able to diffuse them?
Well, so what we do is sometimes we either get a call from the youth when they have a situation, they're about to fight because you know, a conflict that happened in the schools or in the community that took it into the schools. So we were able to build a relationship with the youth doing street outreach to the different hotspots and do school outreach. Once we build a relationship with them, then they'll rely on us to do mediations instead of getting into fights or getting involved in any type of criminal activities. So sometimes we'll get a call from the youth and saying that, hey, we don't want to fight this group of people. Can you come down and do a mediation for us? And we would do that. And many times that we do successful mediations. Yeah. Other times we get called from the school resource officers to ask for our support. So we call our team, dispatch our team down there. And one of the unique thing about the Community Response Network is we also respond to homicides. So when there are homicides happening in the city, the crisis response team will get a call to address the victims and their families. We would go over there and help the community trying to diffuse the situation and not trying to prevent the community from retaliating.
Right, and then it escalates and escalates and more people get involved. What a wonderful service that is.
Yes, I think most of the youth that we work with through the outreach program, they all want jobs. You know, one of the things they lack is jobs because we were able to provide a couple of jobs for a couple of the youth who's hanging out on the streets. Basically, they say, "You give me the job, I'll get off the street." Because when they were on the street, they're selling drugs. They doing other activities to get their money to buy their iPod, pay their phone bill. You know, just to go out, have fun. So we're able to provide them with the employment programs. They were able to earn their money instead of getting it illegally.
That's a wonderful service that you offer. You need volunteers, or volunteers welcome?
Always. From educational service to young kids to big kids to computer learning, all kinds of volunteers we welcome.
And we have your website down under the screen under us. You have a gala event coming in March.
Right. We have our annual gala coming in March 19 at St. Francis Westin Hotel. There will be youth performance, youth award recognition, and also our donor recognition. And most importantly, this grant will help us to sustain the program we described.
I can imagine with the budget and difficulties in that it's getting pretty difficult, but it's a very worthwhile program. And you see that you are in a very good spot to see people benefit from what it is that you do. You must be very proud.
Well, the thing is, our reward comes from the youth success.
Yeah.
You know, when one youth is be able to, you know, change their lives and turn their lives around and become successful, you know, we did our job.
That's wonderful. Maybe the youth will come back and volunteer and help and continue the chain.
We have a few staff, actually, our former programs participants.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.